Hi, I'm John Mallis. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Monday morning. It's on the air off the presses. Glad you're here. We've got two guests in the house today to talk about free TV and the decline of paid television subscribers across the country. What does free TV mean for you? If you're watching us right now, you're not paying for cable, you're not paying for satellite, you're watching us over the air broadcast. 436 MeTV, option 11. Back in just a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Glad you're here on the program on a Monday morning. Connect with me on MeTV Fresno on this 4th of July weekend. It's not the weekend, but I call it the weekend because it's, I guess, an extended weekend for a lot of people since July the 4th is tomorrow. And so today we're going to be talking about pay television, free television, over-the-air broadcast, and all the rest. But first, a couple of programming notes, and that is for tomorrow. It's our 4th of July special. We'll have a couple of veterans in here to talk about the Veterans Memorial Coliseum over in Clovis, and they're going to spruce that up and maybe expand it, do whatever they're going to do. So we'll have the guests in here to talk about, you know, the 4th of July. Everybody goes. If you go to any cemetery across the country, just like Memorial Day, you'll see all those United States flags. Obviously, it's really emotional. It's an emotional time for a lot of people as we celebrate the birthday of this country. Flags flying all over the place. You don't even have to go to a cemetery. So many people fly them over their houses. So that'll be a good program for tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, another barn burner. It'll be Chris Cummings, the owner, or should I say former owner of the Fresno Grizzlies, soon to be former owner. He'll be here to talk about why he's selling the team. How close is he? Is this the real deal? I know he's been looking forward to this for many years to come. Thursday, another special program. We'll talk about bariatric surgery with a surgeon is actually going to be in here. He's not going to perform surgery on me here on live TV, but he will be here to talk about weight loss and all the rest. And then on Friday, we'll cap off the week with Congressman Jim Costa. He is your representative from Fresno right here. He'll talk about the all-important health care bill that's going through the Senate right now. I know he's not part of the Senate, but he'll talk about Obamacare. He'll talk about the American Health Care Act. As you know, Congress is on recess this week. They go back next Monday. So is it repeal and replace or just repeal at this point? You're watching us live on Comcast, channel 375, as usual, Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning. It is a call-in program if you want to call in. And then if you have over-the-air broadcast, 43.6 and 13.1. Replay comes later on in the day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon if you want to watch this program again. 13.6 YouTube, 8 o'clock tonight on 4.6 Biz TV. After that, my friends, you can catch us on YouTube from now until eternity. And today we are talking about cable TV. We are talking about over-the-air broadcast television. And by some estimates, there are so many people that are estimating. It's like a 5-year guesstimate is what I call it. 2015 to 2020, paid television subscribers will decline, according to some estimates, by 5%. That'll be down by 4.7 million people or subscribers. You know how much money that is? If let's say you're even paying $1 a month, 4.7 million subscribers down in a 5-year span. Right now, those people that are paying for television, 99 million across the country, according to some reports that I've seen. By 2020, that's in 3 years, it'll be down to 95 million. Many of you right now are watching us on over-the-air broadcast, free television. Many of you actually purchased that over-the-air broadcast television antenna right here at Ventura TV, where they are hanging from the rafters, and you didn't pay that much for it. And as you know, if you watch MeTV on a regular basis, you have seen the face of Ventura TV, the face of MeTV Fresno, Carrie Franklin, advertising for free television.
Carrie here with this exclusive offer for Central Valley viewers. Right now, get up to 100 free digital TV channels with this complete outdoor antenna kit, including installation, for only $114.98. That's right, our professional installers will come to your home, install this antenna, and set up your TV, all for one low price. Call 1-800-717-1306. That's 1-800-717-1306. Don't miss out on this great offer. Call today while supplies last.
Live in our studio right now is Gary Cocola. He is the president, CEO of Cocola Broadcasting for many, many years, a face and a name that's well recognized around the Central Valley for decades now. And also sitting next to him is Scott Barbee. He is a consultant now, I believe, and also worked for Comcast Cable at one time. So we'll have that debate. Is it cable? Is it over the air? Do you have both? I don't know. Some people have both. They can use that little switcher and bounce back and forth. But anyway, you know, there are devices like Roku, like right here, that are really cutting into the pay TV market. And in fact, talking to Scott just now, we'll talk about this during the course of the program, Roku, or Netflix, I should say, not Roku, but Netflix has actually surpassed the number of subscribers over cable TV. That's amazing, my friends. 436 MeTV option 11. How are you watching this program right now? Is it cable or is it over the air? Call in and weigh in with our two guests back in just a moment. At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Back here on the program, my friends. So, is this all-out war? That's what I want to know. The cable companies and over the air. Gary Cocola, good to see you this morning. How are you? Scott Barbee, good to see you
Nice
too.
to see you.
So I'll let you guys pick it up. You know what's going on better than I do in this this area of cable versus over the air, and you know, Roku and Netflix and Hulu and all the rest. What's going on? Is there an all-out war, guys?
Well, I think there's more choice. You know, back in the day when, you know, cable was dominant, there was a lot less choices. There wasn't over-the-top services like Netflix and other services, and the number of over-the-air channels was significantly less. In the analog days, as Gary knows, because he started in that day, it was one channel per TV station. So I think more choice brings more options, and people are migrating to those levels of service that best meet their needs. And so it's having some impact on cable subscriptions, as you mentioned.
Gary?
Well, you know, Scott, we went from analog in the 80s and 90s to digital in 2009, and I had 10 low-power TV stations that had one basic stream of video. And if you add now anywhere from 6 to 7 to 8 to 10 channels per station, you're talking about the capability of 60 free over-the-air channels just on our side. And of course, 3 of those now are Ventura Broadcasting, the parent company of the MeTV operation here in Fresno at Ventura Broadcasting. So I believe there's 28 or 29 channels on the Ventura stations today and about 35 channels on our stations. And then you have the local affiliates, the PBS, the Spanish stations, making up about 111 free over-the-air TV channels in Fresno.
So over 100
Over 100.
combined. Okay, now, but now you have 25 stations?
We have between 25. You know what? I have lost count. I really have, because we keep adding new ones all the time.
How many of those are on cable?
4.
Four.
Four.
And how difficult is it to get those stations on cable? And why is cable still
It's very
kind
difficult.
of the big enchilada?
That's why I have this guy right here. He's the guru.
Hang on. Okay, go ahead, caller. You're on the air with both Scott Barbee, Gary Cocola. How are you watching us today, over the air or on cable?
I'm watching you over the air right now. I mean, I think your boss there, Mr. Cocola, is exactly right. When the government had us switch from analog over to digital, I think that gave the consumer a tremendous amount of flexibility in terms of free TV. And so now, like you say, now you have 100 channels to choose from, and a lot of those channels offer many of the same type of station selection as cable does, and in better quality. So I think free digital television is actually surpassing cable television, and you don't have to pay for it. And so, and as we have the voice, we can always say to Mr. Cocola, well, we miss having these stations or these shows on your TV, and hopefully Mr. Cocola will listen, and he would adapt MeTV to fit the local area. Whereas with cable television, you don't have that say, because it's a conglomerate, and it's a kind of a boardroom that would in somewhere in New York or wherever that doesn't know what the Fresno area likes, that makes the selections in terms of what's going to be on that network. So I think digital television, especially local television, is a lot more flexible, and it's a lot better, and gives a lot more selection.
Caller,
hey, free television.
Caller, hang on there. Don't hang up. Gary, do you want to respond to that?
Well, he's absolutely right. We have gone into a whole new digital age. And we're always looking, Scott and I are always looking for new networks. There's a lot of new networks that are coming along all the time, being added here. If we don't add them, or Ventura Broadcasting doesn't add them, then one of the other channels in the market are adding these new networks. So there's more choice. We're working right now on a project. Hopefully, I'll be able to make an announcement in the next few months where we're going to have a local all-news channel in Fresno.
Okay.
So those kinds of things are happening as we speak. There's more coming. In fact, one of the things we'd like to talk about today is the change that our company is making and adding Cozy TV, which has been on KAIL channel 7.4. There's kind of musical chairs going on with that network. It's moving from 7.4, I think it already has, to channel 51.3, where ION was. The ION network is going over to 7.4, KAIL, but we're also adding Cozy on our 43. It'll be on 43.8, but we're also going to send that feed to Comcast 378. So that change will be coming up in the next 30 days.
Well, what kind of programming on Cozy? Hang on, caller.
Cozy is a very similar network to Antenna TV, very similar to MeTV. The old product from many years ago is on Cozy. Cozy is owned by NBC.
Right.
And so, therefore, they've got vast libraries of programming.
Like Leave It to Beaver or something like
exactly,
that, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And Cozy's not new to this market because it has been on channel 7.4 for quite a number of years. Scott, do you remember when Cozy started in the market? I don't recall when it.
7.3, it started in the market on 7.3, then it moved to 7.4.
I think you're right. I think
What's that again? What's that
it
again?
moved
Caller,
around. It
again?
was on 7.2 or 3.
H&I went from one channel to another. It went from 7.1 and went to 7.3 now.
Right, and if you'll notice,
you're kind of flopping around, and I have to keep track of myself as you say, the channels are changing up.
If you'll notice that 7.2 now, KAIL, has become a network called Light, L-I-G-H-T.
Light.
And then on channel 59.2, there's a new network called Charge. And on 59.3, there's TBD, which is a new network. And so, they are being born every day.
I have to rescan my stations.
I'm sorry?
I say I have to rescan my stations.
You do.
There are new stations coming up.
Incidentally, that is a great thing you just said, caller. you need to rescan your TV set at least every 30 days. And the reason for that is as these new channels appear, if your tuner is not the type of tuner that automatically knows that there's a new channel on the air, you won't see it. So every 30 days, just get the remote out, hit the auto program, and program your TV fresh every 30 days.
Yeah, Scott, you want to add anything?
Yeah,
What I also like about MeTV, of course, and as well as other networks that are free TV, is that like with MeTV here, you can have a local station like like a Connect with Me. Well, I think right now, on MeTV, I think there's another on MeTV, there's another program going on right now in other network areas. But as in Fresno, we have the Connect with Me, where we can talk with John and so forth and look at his guests. So I think that's the great flexibility you have between local networks that have national abilities.
Well, that's what I was going to say is a couple things. One is, we're talking about all these new broadcast channels, but really it came about through technology. I mean, I'm a cable guy by trade. I started in the cable business in the late 70s. And in the late 70s, cable TV had 12 channels. It just offered improved reception.
CNN was one of them.
But when technology came around for the cable guys, that's when you saw, MTV get launched and CNN and Turner,
ESPN,
TNT, et cetera, et cetera.
HBO.
So what happened in the broadcast side in 2009 with the digital
And
transition?
The attraction that cable television used to have, where they used to tell you, and even now they call up and say, we have hundreds of stations available to you. And for me personally, I always tell them in response, I say, well, yeah, that's great, but I only have one television.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at 200 different stations right now, or 200 different TVs.
You can only watch one channel at a time.
So that really doesn't mean much to me. So I'm paying for 500 stations that I can't look at the same time.
Yeah.
But whereas free television, I can look and choose and find out what I want to see for free, and then stay with it.
Caller, just one quick thing and we'll let you go here. What station are you watching us on, by the way?
What station am I watching you on right now?
Are you on
13.1? Because that's the one that when I want to look at it on my television and look at the information, that station will give me the information in terms of what I want to see or what I'm looking at. Whereas 43.6 will not give me any information.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, caller, thank you much. Have a good day, and thanks for watching 13.1. And so you're talking about technology changing. That changed the face of TV, right?
In the early 80s, it changed it for the cable business.
Right.
That's when all the new channels started coming out in 2009 with the digital transition in broadcast. That's why we have the MeTVs and the Cozy TVs and the Ions and the Light TV is because of technology. Because now, rather than one channel, one station, in some cases, you can put 10 streams of programming on one TV station. Yeah. And so technology's changed things. One other thing that the caller mentioned, and I think it goes back to local, cable has become much more of a commodity. There's no localism in the cable business anymore. They try to standardize their lineups. They don't do a lot of the local programming that the broadcasters do. And I think that's a big differentiator, is that if you really want local, you got to go on the broadcast side today, because UVerse, Comcast, and the satellite guys are basically a commodity. They're a national service. They don't really do as much local as they used to.
And John, just so that you'll know, Comcast right now is giving to CMAC, the community media access channels in Fresno, I believe it's 95, 96, 97. There's 3 local channels only on Comcast. But our company is now in discussions with CMAC so that we can take one of their channels and put it on free over-the-air TV. So that's an announcement hopefully we'll be able to make in the next few months.
All right, another call here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air with Gary Cocola and Scott Barbee. What's your question? Hey, by the way, what station you watching us on?
Scott, listen, several questions.
Oh, okay.
Why are there 2 channels with the same programming? That's my first question. As 13.1 and 43.6. 43.6 seems like they get a little more power than when I go to 13.1, or unless I guess if I adjusted my antenna, I could get a better reception. But okay, that's my first question. And then possibly the second one is, you have the authority to have more watts of power? Some of these low stations, I have a hard time at times. Some go better in the morning than evening. When I decide to view them, and I can't pick it up. That's the second question. And third question, I'm looking forward to Gary Bentley's new program.
Rick
Am I
Bentley.
correct?
Rick Bentley.
Rick Bentley.
Oh, Rick Bentley. I am so thank you.
There was a
Rick
Gary Bentley many years ago on Channel 47. He did the
Oh,
news.
yeah. That's right. Yeah. You know, listen, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Happens to me all the time.
Gary, Cocola, you're
Yes.
Gary Cocola, am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. I gave Kevin photos of Al Radka. I hope you got them or viewed them. He might have given to you already. I
Yes,
don't
yes.
know.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. It was fun. It was great. Great time. I think Al Radka would be proud of you.
Well,
if
thank
he
you.
was here
Thank
today.
you. Well, he's the guy that got me started many, many years ago, back in the
Yeah.
60s.
Okay.
Right.
Well, let's
I
take.
love that. Yeah.
Caller, got a
Okay,
question?
that's it. If you can write them down, John.
Yeah, caller.
And thank you.
Can you hear me? Or
Talk
still,
to you later.
Wait a minute. Don't hang up. Are you still there?
Oh, okay. I'll hang on.
No,
There's
just-
one more
just-
last question, but
That's true.
Go ahead, ask your question.
I want to know what
the
station
last
you're
one,
watching us on.
What's the difference between Netflix, if I got this right, smart TV, and antenna television?
Okay. Well, we'll
Did you get
we'll
that?
try and take them all. I think
Go
John
over
wrote
that.
them down.
Okay, let me
Yeah,
ask you
yeah.
what station you're watching us on.
I am at cable. I have
Okay.
Comcast.
Do you have an
And then
antenna?
if I,
Do you have an
yeah,
antenna?
and then I have 3 antennas in my backyard.
Okay, cool. Great.
All right.
I have 3 antennas to
right.
make
Thanks,
sure
caller.
I try to get every station.
Okay, perfect.
got
Thank
it.
you. Then you
Thank
get
you.
all 111, I would hope.
Gary, what's that last question he asked?
Well, about Netflix and is it smart TV or so forth. First of
okay.
all,
You want to pick that up?
well, I'll try and take some of those. Those are
Yeah,
some
I
good
got the other two written
some good
down.
questions
Okay.
there. Number one, Netflix is delivered to your home via the internet. If you have internet
Roku, right?
or Roku,
This is Roku.
but you
right
have
here.
to have
The Roku
subscribe.
box.
You have to subscribe to either Comcast or AT&T to deliver the internet to your home.
Why?
You're not going to get Netflix. It's only available OTT, over the top, on those type of devices.
Okay.
That's the only way you get Netflix. And I think they sell Netflix around $8 or $9 a month now. You can't get it unless you have this box and the internet. Now, I don't know, John, too many people today who don't have the internet at their home. Now, with the exception of my aunties who watch cable TV. They have cable, no antenna. They're in a condo complex. And we'd love to be able to have an antenna at their complex, but the CCRs of the complex say you can't have an antenna. Now, that's really against the law, but we haven't taken it up with the condo complex so we could put in an antenna for aunties.
I'm going to put this caller. Can you hold a moment, please? Caller?
We have two other questions, John.
Yeah, I know,
think
but I
that-
got to go to break here too. Caller,
Okay.
can you hang on?
Yes.
Okay, I've got to go to a commercial break. We'll come back and answer those two questions,
All right.
and then we'll take this call if you can be patient. 436 MeTV option 11, very popular show today. A lot of calls. Back in just a moment after this from Thomas Casagrande, our sponsor today.
Take a look at this. Let's play.
This is too hip for you. I'll slow down.
Let's play.
Watch all your favorite classic game shows on Buzzer TV, KVBC Digital Channel 13.7.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today. Back here on the program with Gary Cocola, Scott Barbee. Caller, I'm going to ask you to hang on. I know you're being patient. The other two questions the previous caller had was, okay, you're watching this program, 13.1, 43.6. Why the same program on two different stations?
That's a great question. Number one, Channel 43 is a high-power television channel like Channel 24, Channel 26, Channel 30, Channel 47. Channel 13 is a low-power station. In order for us to talk to AT&T at the time that MeTV launched in 2011, ATT, UVerse in Fresno, would not even talk about adding MeTV unless it was on a .1 channel. So that's why Mr. Sharon and I decided, let's put MeTV on 13.1, which is a Ventura channel, with the hope that AT&T UVerse would add the local MeTV. They didn't. We asked them. In fact, we had the network ask AT&T, but they refused to put on the local MeTV. There is MeTV on AT&T UVerse,
But not local.
but not the local feed. So your show, John, is not on AT&T
It's only on
UVerse.
Comcast.
That's correct. It's only on Comcast.
Hang on, caller. Don't hang up.
There was another question there about
Yeah, it's
high
about
power,
low power, high power. Sometimes at night, the low powers come in better.
Okay,
Why?
I think he asked about the wattage. Low power TV stations are assigned 15,000 watts of power, and that's it. The government, the FCC, is not going to give low power stations more power, so we're out of luck, quite honestly. We're very fortunate, though, that when we went from analog to digital TV, that digital kind of cleaned up the picture of low power TV stations. In fact, quite honestly, they're very comparable, low power and high power, as long as you have a good outside antenna.
Listen, this caller's been patient. Caller, go ahead.
ahead.
You're on the air with our two guests today, Gary Cocola, Scott Barbee.
Are you there?
Yes,
Go. Yeah,
I
you're
just
on.
wanted to say I watch you guys on channel 13.1.
That's good.
Good. Do you have any questions? Caller,
I can't hear you.
do you have any questions for us? Go ahead, caller.
I just wanted to tell you that I like to watch 13.1 and 21.1 or 2 and 4. Anyway, I like to watch the old things on TV because nowadays they've got so much more class than the things they have on TV today. They don't use the language and show the crap that they do on TV today.
Yeah.
Those are my favorites.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that, and let me explain.
Thanks for the call.
I think that also goes to why are there the same programs on more than one channel. The Channel 21 folks, Univision in Fresno, added Get TV, Grit, and Escape. Grit and Escape are also on Channel 24 and Channel, I believe, 24.2, 24.3. That's a network situation.
Hang on, caller.
That they hooked up with, and Scott knows the folks at Wolf Broadcasting. Is it Wolf?
It's Bounce Cats.
Bounce Cats programming. And they made a deal with Nexstar, the owners of Channel 24 and 47, to run their networks as well. Now, perhaps when the contract expires with the Univision station, 21.3 and 4 will go away. We don't know. Right now, we are running the Bounce network on our Channel 32.1, but that's going to eventually go away because Bounce is now on Channel 24.
Let's take this call here. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air with our two guests. What's your question?
I just wanted to thank them for what they're doing. I know it's probably not a lot of money in over-the-air TV. I cut the cable like a doctor with a newborn baby. I only watch over-the-air. And you alluded to equipment. And I want to know what the best antenna, outdoor, motorized, directional, something you can get on eBay or Amazon, because I find that that's very critical to picking up the signal. I'm up in the Mariposa area and also in Merced area, and I, again, like 13.1 I listen to in Merced, but up in the mountains, it's 3-point-something out of Sacramento, and I'd really like to be able to pick up the Fresno feed if possible. And I don't know if you have maps showing where the signal is best or not, but my big concern is the equipment, what your recommendation would be. The tuner box, all of that, I think is pretty straightforward. To me, it's the antenna is the whole key to the thing. And the only other thing I would comment, two things. One, on some of the automotive shows, it seems like the content is 4 or 5 years old. I don't know if you have any direction over that. And the other thing, I'm so glad to hear you're going to have a local news show. Hopefully it's going to be very similar to what Mr. Malice does, with local guests, local content, live. I know you have some news shows on some of the other channels that are, radio feeds, national news, conservative, which is great. But I really, really think that there is a market for local news, local talent, local issues. So thank you so much for what you do. I know some people are missionaries, some people are mercenaries. You're definitely a missionary. You're not in it for the money, and I thank you so much for what you're doing.
Well,
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And I like to tell folks out there in TV land that I'm a dinosaur. I'm one of the few locally owned broadcasters left in the country, because the corporations, the publicly traded companies, are basically taking over our industry. And so my time is limited. I don't see being a local broadcaster into the future on the horizon much longer. But anyway, to talk about the antennas, right here at Ventura TV, where this show emanates from every day, Monday through Friday, is a whole array of good outside antennas. And I think if you come in and visit with either Dennis or Hector or Rafi here at Ventura TV, you'll find a selection of antennas that'll work very well for you up in the mountains there in the Mariposa area. So I would say come on in, talk to them. They are experts at the antennas. They've been selling them now since we started with digital TV. If you may need a rotor on your antenna to be able to fine tune into the stations and where the transmitters are located. So come on into Ventura. They'll sell you an antenna that I'm sure will
and
pick
it's
up.
Also 4th of July weekend, so you probably get a good deal. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Scott.
I was just
Hang
going
on,
to say there's also some pretty good websites out there that you can look at, like antennasdirect.com. They have a whole learning center there where you can go in and put your address in the website, and it will tell you what type of antenna you need in order to pick up what kinds of stations. So you can check the website out as well.
Yeah, caller, go ahead. You're on the air. Caller?
I was going to inquire as to whether you said you're going to have a news station. Is it going to be? Will it also be somewhat kind of like a C-SPAN, where you can see local governmental bodies such as our board of supervisors and our local city school boards and so forth,
You're
as
talking
well as
about
television news, national and local?
You're talking about something like CMAC, and we're in discussions with CMAC. They sent out their remote truck a couple of weeks ago, and they actually ran the State of the City with the mayor live. If we are able to make a deal with CMAC, then we will have that kind of programming on our over-the-air channel.
Just to clarify, though, CMAC is not over-the-air broadcast.
No,
it's only
right
on
now,
Comcast.
CMAC right now is only on Comcast cable
90,
and UVerse.
Yeah, 95.
99 on UVerse.
Okay.
95, 96, 97, I believe.
The other question is, should some broadcast stations leave the air from, say, like you were talking about, channel 24 and channel 21? Will you be able to pick those up on some of your open stations? Should they be popular enough?
Well, right now we are maxed out at the amount of networks that we can carry without digitizing more of our stations to carry more channels. We have the capacity to take more channels and bring in more programming, but at the moment, other than the 2 channels that I'm talking about and adding Cozy, so it's 3, we're talking about a potential, and I say potential because we're just in early discussions with CMAC to add one of their channels over the air, and then we're also talking to a group about doing a all news channel in Fresno, which would be very similar to the old headline news, CNN headline news, where you would have local news every 30 minutes and it would be rotating around the clock 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Okay. Caller, quickly, we're getting short on time, but go ahead. Anything else real quick?
No, I just was going to ask also, will you be bringing in some of those radio networks to, say, do some kind of a simulcast type of network or news broadcast?
Well, right now we don't have anything on our agenda to bring in any new network news channels. Right now there are 3 network news channels free over the air, channel 31.1, 31.2, and our 33.7 or 6, I believe it is. Yes, France 24 News. So that's about it. I don't see any other news, network news, national news channels coming in the foreseeable future.
Quickly, I want to, let's see, you talked about Cozy TV, and Scott, I'll get to you in a minute because I want to talk about cable too on the other side of the break, but Cozy TV is coming to Cocola Broadcasting, and also the Rick Bentley Show has also started. Rick Bentley, the former entertainment writer for the Fresno Bee for what, 18 years?
18 years.
Now has his own show on what station?
Channel 43.5, which is Antenna TV Network. Rick's show is Saturday nights at 6:30 to 7. Every Saturday night, although we...
No, not every, it's every other, isn't it?
It's every Saturday night because it runs twice. The same show runs twice.
Gotcha, okay.
Like this last Saturday night was the first show, but it ran twice.
And that's Comcast 378.
And that's Comcast 378.
All right.
And Rick's show will be a fresh new show on July 8th.
Okay. We'll go to break here. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Dr. Thomas Casagrande is our sponsor today. Back in a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today. Back here on the program, Gary Cocola is here. Scott Barbee is here. Scott, I need to hear from you about cable TV because I want to get into some numbers here that I saw online. And you're a former Comcast employee. What's the mindset at Comcast Cable TV? You worked there for years. How many years?
Yeah. Well, I came to the Valley in '89, so I worked at Continental Cablevision and AT&T Broadband and Media One and Comcast. So I've definitely seen a lot of change. But the cable side, even though you
What's
look
the
at
mindset of cable?
I think it's bullish on the future, just like broadcast. I mean, I think what's happening on the cable side, even though you're seeing them losing subscribers, they're really moving into they're a broadband company. Yeah. As Gary mentioned, if you want to subscribe to Netflix and Hulu, some of the over-the-top services, you need a broadband connection. You need to have a high-speed internet connection that's going to deliver sufficient speeds for you to have a positive experience with those services. So what Comcast is doing, Comcast has the best pipe. They're moving into not just a video-centric business, but a broadband business. So they still have their
Meaning
video.
that they're available to more people across the country? Is that what that means?
Well, just that they're focusing more on the internet side of their business,
which is maybe the future, right?
The future, plus the business side of their, the business,
Right.
where really they're bringing high-speed internet to businesses like Ventura TV, who I think maybe subscribes to Comcast high-speed internet here.
They do.
All right,
And John, let me bring up one other
let
point.
me roll. Okay, go ahead before
One
I do
other
that.
point. The internet is going to change, at least delivery is going to change. The new broadcast standard, we haven't even talked about that today, that's coming is ATSC 3.0. That's the new broadcast standard. It's going to be around in the next 3 to 5 years.
To the non-TV people at home, what does that mean?
That means that broadcast television stations are going to be able to do a lot more than they do today with programming. They should be able to provide internet service as well with a television broadcast channel. So in the future, broadcasters may be able to offer internet services
With live
to
streaming,
subscribers
or?
with just the service.
Oh, just the
When
service,
you
okay.
subscribe now to Comcast or AT&T for internet, you pay them a monthly fee. There's only one company here in the Valley that serves people without a wire, and that's unwired broadband. They're also an internet provider. But we hope as broadcasters into the future that we are going to be able to provide internet service.
So it goes back to choice,
Yeah.
what we started with. So the cable business, they're getting into the cellular business, Comcast is. You probably saw some of their recent announcements. They're really moving away into more of a broadband business rather than a video-centric business. And now you got the broadcasters in the next 3 to 5 years that may be offering competitive services through broadcast technology and broadcast spectrum.
All right, Carrie, I want to roll a videotape, and no sound on this Comcast cable TV spot, and I want to talk about Comcast, but specifically about cable TV. You were telling me Netflix has more subscribers now than cable TV around the country?
It was
How many?
recently announced. Netflix has 55 mil, and I think the total cable business has like 54. But they just crossed the hurdle. Now Netflix has more subscribers than cable TV.
53.9 is what 2017 numbers look like for cable TV. So you're saying that Netflix has 55 million. This is a Comcast Xfinity commercial that you've seen many times before. Their advertising, of course, their pay, their rates, and everything else. And so the future of cable TV, in your opinion, Scott, is...
It's broadband.
Yeah,
It's
it's
broadband.
It's their
So
high-speed
they're not
internet.
going
It's
away
their
just because they're
No,
losing
no, no.
subscribers. Hey, you saw the layoffs at ESPN, right?
Mm-hmm.
They laid off at least 100 people just recently. It's because their subscribers have dropped on cable TV, and ESPN gets like $5 a spot for every subscriber. That's a lot of money they lost.
Their business is changing as well, and they have to evolve. But if you
Right.
look at Netflix, for example, well, Comcast just recently integrated Netflix into their X1 platform. So now if you search using X1, you're a Comcast customer, you can hit Netflix right through your X1 on your X1
You talk
remote.
to the remote now.
You can talk to the remote.
So so it's about the end user experience. So Comcast has the biggest pipe. They're allowing all of these over-the-top services to survive and grow. Comcast is even integrating those for end user experience, so you can hit a button and watch Netflix.
Here's where I know I got to go to break here in a couple of minutes, but I want to talk about this just real quick before I talk about these numbers here. Time Warner Cable, of course, is in a big dispute with the LA Dodgers and what's going on.
They
down
changed
there.
their name, incidentally.
Yeah, I know they did, but only half of LA, maybe even less than half, can actually watch Dodger games on television. There's been an ongoing dispute for years. Now there is a bigger dispute because the Dodgers are nearing first place. They have at least 4 players that should be starting on tomorrow night's All-Star game that are not. You know why? Because people in LA can't watch the Dodgers. If they can't watch them, they can't vote. Scott, you want to pick it up from there?
I think it boils down to what a lot of people are talking about today and why they're cutting the cord. It goes down to programming costs. And when
But this is a case when the customer is suffering.
But when Time Warner Cable negotiated the deal with the Dodgers, many believe they overpaid significantly for that deal.
I'm not sure what they paid, but it was a lot of money.
And so for them to get a return on that investment, they had to go out and negotiate deals with Dish, DirecTV, other cable providers, telcos in LA and around the country in order to pay that back. Well, a lot of those providers weren't willing to pay the fee that Time Warner Cable wanted them to pay to pick up the Dodgers. And so that's part of the problem. It's really an economic situation. It's a price value situation. It's similar to what ESPN's up against right now. ESPN is paying a fortune for sports programming.
Yeah, like the NFL
and
baseball.
And now they're having some difficulty trying to make financial sense through their organization, which is causing them to make some really tough decisions on how they go forward.
But the problem is in LA, you have so many low-income people that are big Dodger fans that can't afford cable. That's why they're not watching, and they're not over the air. And on top of that, Vin Scully retired last year, of course. So you have a potential first-place team, a team that could possibly go to the World Series. At least 4 guys on there deserve all-star consideration as starters, but they're not going to be on there. And I'm not a Dodger fan, but I have to.
If you want the NFL ticket, you want to watch all the NFL games. And today, I don't know what the latest price is, but it's probably $200 for the season just to get the package. And then you have to have DirecTV in order to get it.
But that's a lot cheaper than buying season tickets.
True, exactly. So there's a way to get the Dodgers if you want to pay to get the Dodgers.
But if you can't afford it, then you're not. And less than half of LA is watching the Dodgers right now.
Well, unfortunately, even Monday Night Football. Who were to think Monday Night Football was going to transition to a pay TV service when it had always been traditionally a broadcast service? But that's part of the change and the evolution that we're in.
In your opinion, before we go to break here, will events like the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA Finals, will they eventually just all go to cable? Because right now, the NBA playoffs, they're all on TNT, which is cable, except for the finals. They're on ABC, over-the-air broadcast, free TV. But will we see these big events like the Super Bowl go pay TV?
I would say there would be a trend towards that, but it really depends on are the big broadcast groups like NBC Universal that Comcast owns. I mean, how much money did they pay for the rights to the Olympics?
Right.
So
much of the Olympics now, they're on cable TV. Much of what you see during the day and at night.
Right. So it really, when these contracts come up and when broadcasters or pay TV providers have the opportunity to bid for the rights, or over-the-top providers, who knows? I think there's definitely going to be a transition away from broadcast into pay TV, but we'll see. And I think we've seen that over the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, football, baseball, basketball, golf, auto racing. These are the traditional sports that people watch on television, and much of those events are on cable TV now, except for the big enchiladas. You got the Daytona 500, you got the Indy 500, those are all over the air. You got the World Series, the NBA Finals, and like I said, the Super Bowl over the air. But you wonder if those big enchiladas eventually may go to pay television, much like watching in the old days, and you watched a boxing match, you had to pay for it. Yeah. Well, now you kind of still have to pay for it if you have cable TV. Anyway, 436 MeTV option 11, Dr. Thomas Casagrande is our sponsor today. Back in just a moment.
Sports is now on KBHF 4.3.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today. All right, not to bore you with the numbers. I mean, this is like reading the batting averages at, in baseball. I don't like to do that, but I just got to do it just for now. 2017, this is what cable's got. I mentioned this before. 53.9 million across the country subscribers. Satellite TV, has got 32.1 million. Telco has got 11.9. So by 2020, these numbers are going to be way down by more than 1 million or 2 subscribers each. And so, I mean, this will have a big impact, of course, on over-the-air broadcast, because more and more people will go over the air. But you're saying because of the broadband situation, hey, it won't affect, it's affecting them now, but in the future, it won't affect cable or satellite.
Well, until somebody comes around with a better pipe, you know, you need a good high-speed internet service that has sufficient speeds in order for you, you know, to experience Netflix and those types of services. And now for over-the-air broadcast, and you want to just watch over-the-air broadcast, I mean, it still remains free. And I think it's going to continue to evolve, as Gary said, with new technology that's rolling out in the next 5 years. Who knows? I mean, you might get your high-speed internet connection through Gary Cocola TV. I mean,
look, I mean,
if I'm still around.
People are cutting the cord because I know somebody who's paying like $130-something a month for Comcast cable. Okay, and you can get some of the same programming by just going internet TV, by going to Roku. And this other device here, Gary, what is this? Hold this up. I'll hold it up, and then you can explain what it is.
Well, this is another
device here?
OTT device, over-the-top device. And this actually goes in and pulls programming that regular viewers have uploaded to the cloud. This device will find the programming you're looking for and pull it down. So it's called SkyStream X.
Brand new?
Yes, and there's more devices
so
like
it's in
that.
The cloud.
It's in the cloud.
Okay.
And people will upload to the cloud, and then you can go scan for what you want. It's called a Kodi device, and it will bring down that programming to your TV set. And these devices are very inexpensive. I believe the SkyStream's about $150 one time, and then you have it forever. As long as
about $99.
I think, depending on how much they are. But again, you have to have internet to make these things work.
Right. So you're paying. So with these devices like this, ladies and gentlemen, like let's just take Roku for example, just real quick, as a quick example. If you're paying, let's say, $40 a month for your Comcast internet, okay, then you've got Roku, which is about, you know, you're paying for Roku, which is
one time.
Okay. Then on Roku you can get Netflix, which is about $9 a month.
But you still have to pay for the subscription to Netflix.
I understand.
So
that's about $9 a month.
This device enables you to get the Netflix programming.
But this device also enables you to get other programming like ESPN,
There's a
CNN,
thousand
Fox
channels.
News. Yeah, that you can get through Roku, and you can end up paying $35-40 a month just for this. All told, about $80 a month, which is less than Comcast cable.
Yeah, and
that's what a lot of people are doing.
What's interesting about this device, Scott has a client in Nebraska.
Okay.
And you can actually watch his client's programming.
Not on Roku, right?
On Roku.
Roku.
It's called News Channel Nebraska.
This is Roku.
He's a
here.
broadcaster, Mike Flood, just like I am. He's Scott's client. And his station has a 24-hour news service out of Nebraska, and you can get it on Roku. So if we wanted in Fresno to put our news channel on Roku, we'll be able to do that.
A lot of these services offer what they call developer apps. And so that's what News Channel Nebraska did. They just wrote a developer app. It's on Roku, and anybody that has a Roku
So
device
Connect With Me
watch
could
it.
eventually be on Roku.
Yeah, sure.
If we write the app.
Exactly.
Write the app.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll the videotape. It's got sound. Let's play the sound. Evan Onstadt of KC24 is the news anchor and the host of a half-hour television show on Sunday morning called Sunday Morning Matters.
For allegedly lighting the match. No matter how you feel about Hillary Clinton politically, when she walks onto this stage tonight to accept the nomination of the Democratic Party for president, she is making history. And people here in Philadelphia say this is the perfect city for this to happen in. 2 Visalia men are in jail accused of making sandwiches laced with meth. Donald Trump is flatly denying new accusations that he groped, fondled and kissed women without their consent. A woman and her baby daughter in the hospital tonight, a police officer lucky to be alive. All of this after a shooting and a standoff in Tulare. Hey there, good evening. I'm Evan Onstott. Jerry Brown in his 4 terms has given many State of the State addresses as governor, but this year, with Donald Trump in the White House and many looking at Jerry Brown to see how the governor would respond, this one might have been his most watched. And it's not just the water, it's also dangerous items like debris, entire trees being swept down here. That's the bad news. The good news is that earlier today, this water would have been up at about my head.
And by the way, Evan, your Broncos are still not here.
Thank you. I appreciate you reminding me once again, Andrew. Andrew Martin, live in Houston. We're not going to talk to him again the rest of the week. I've just decided.
All right, that's our good friend Evan Onstott at KC24. Why am I running that videotape, you ask? Why am I running this thing? Well, he's been on this program before. He's a news anchor, local television news. And let's start with you, Scott. Caller, I'm going to ask you to hold. What's the future of television news? Gary just mentioned he's working on a deal to possibly have 24-hour news channel on one of his stations. What's the future for a guy like Evan and what KC is doing, what 30 is doing, what 47 is doing?
Well, I think that's the differentiator. I mean, when you look at it, pay TV, cable, satellite, UVerse, it's basically become a commodity. Broadcast is local, and that's really their leverage is local programming, whether that's local news, you know, they have that.
Will local news ever go away, do you think?
I don't think so.
No, I don't either.
You don't either?
And I think the you know, just like my client in Nebraska, News Channel Nebraska, very, very successful. And he's filling a niche that's not being fulfilled by the other broadcasters in the community by offering 24/7 news. And he's focused on rural news in rural Nebraska that don't really provide any service at all. And so as long as broadcasters continue to stay focused on local and serve the local communities, there's going to be an audience for those stations.
Go ahead, Gary.
Well, I was just going to say that when you watch the local news channels in Fresno, 24, 30, 26, 47, you'll watch a half hour or an hour newscast. But out of that 1 hour, there's only, 26 minutes that's really news. The rest are all commercials.
Maybe less.
Maybe even less than that.
Yeah.
So, you know, in order to pay for news, the local channels have to sell advertising to pay for the cost of putting news on the air. It's expensive.
Caller, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and talk. You're on the air with Gary Cocola and Scott Barbee.
John, I'm calling from Porterville.
Oh, good.
And I've been watching your program quite a while. I've never called in before, but I enjoy your program.
Thank you.
But a lady earlier called and asked a question and it wasn't answered, and I have the same question. A lot of times, like right now, I'm watching you on 13.1. A lot of times, I can't even get 13.1 at all, and a number of it seems like they come and go, and I don't know if it's. And I have an antenna that just like the one you guys sell, but I got it over the internet, and I don't know if it has to be directional or what, but like where it's facing now, I'm getting you perfect, and a lot of the other programs, but then maybe tonight it'll be blank and no signal.
Okay, thank you, caller. I'm short on time. Gary, can you? We got 1 minute left.
Okay. He needs a rotor on his antenna to be able to move it back and forth. And sometimes because of atmospheric conditions, the channel 13 doesn't reach all the way to Porterville because it's a low-power channel.
13.1 may not reach
may
down
not
there.
go all the way down there.
That's
Some
a long
days
way.
it's fine. It's 60, 70 miles, maybe even 80 miles from the transmitter site at Meadow
Even
Lakes.
if it gets a high-powered antenna?
Well, yeah, if the signal's only going to go so far and then it drops off. So with a really high-power antenna and an amplifier and a rotor, he may be able to get it all the time.
We're out of time. I don't want to get cut off. Gary, good to see you. I hope
Good
we
to see
answered
you.
that caller's question.
I hope so, too. It's been
Scott,
fun.
good to see you. All right. Gary,
Thanks for having us, John.
Thank you, Gary. Gary Cocola, Scott Barbee, thanks for being here. Happy 4th of July, everybody. See you back here tomorrow with the Veterans Program, and have a good day. At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
A top secret location. It's the spies who love me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best